Most men are fixers. We develop these masks that we carry through childhood and adulthood, and that we're taught as men to fix things. So when you have that family tragedy or a big need at school or work, like, yes, I'm here to fix this. And we always struggle with the mundane stuff. I mean, that's why we have so much problems with social media and all this stuff. We're distracting ourselves from the present moment. You're telling me that I'm fully present when there's a need? That's not surprising, right? And when you're coaching with me, you're fully present because you understand there's a need for it and a growth period for it. The struggle with the daily mundane is a natural struggle for guys. And what you said was really important, which is the fact that when I have a clear objective and a call to action, I act. I know where I'm going. There's a roadmap. I got to get from point A to point B. I'm fucking good. But when you're trying to read a 9-year-old boy or a 10 or 13-year-old girl, good luck with that. Or a mercurial wife that is accustomed to you fixing things when there's a problem and being absent when there's not. Getting comfortable with, as you said, that stillness and silence is a challenge for every successful guy that I know, because our entire worlds are action-packed. When you begin to think back to what we're talking about in the meditation, that A-OK symbol, when you begin to feel out of whack, just connect your fingers the same way, and it will bring you back to that feeling of stillness. It won't fix the problem. So this isn't like a fucking magic bullet that's going to change everything for you. It's really about that cue. Oh, I am not present here. Bring me back. And you enjoy prayer, you enjoy meditation, you enjoy journaling. All those things suck you back into the present and get you in touch with yourself. So when you talk about, I feel really good doing those things, that makes complete sense. You've put the work in with us over the years and you've seen the results on all levels. You articulated to me that a lot of the stuff comes back to what we started with, right? But we've taken a very meandering path to get back to the same thing. You. At home, I'm a fixer, and I'll create something, stress, to fix it. It gives me purpose, right? So you're really looking for an intimate connection. Problem solving is your love language. So when you're, right? I mean, like when you're solving a problem for your family or anywhere, that's who you are. That's why you're in the job that you're in. Understanding who I am and how I tick is your job as a human being. So now that you have this awareness that I can create stress or a problem at home to fix it, and you have this tool to bring you back to the present moment, you're able to have that conversation with yourself in real time. And you are able to articulate that I keep piling things on, it gets worse and worse and worse. This is not a magic bullet to stop that. It is really preventative maintenance and getting it too far down that path, right? It's a dissipating thing to stillness with it. Like, ooh, okay, whoa, I'm out of control here. I'm coming back. And out of control is not fighting all the time. It's that loop in your head. It's building up. It's building up. Here I come. It's going to pop. Oh, shit. Oh, get out of the way. Here I come, right? You're carrying that tension all the time. When you begin to have that stress connection or lack of stress connection with the A-OK symbol, it's your first step towards dissipating, right? It's a downshift. You don't use the brake all the time. I can downshift and rev the engine up and the car slows down, right? And then the engine comes back down to a low RPM. You still have the torque if you need to get going again, but you don't have to. That power band is still with you. You're just going to be deploying it differently, right? You're turning a couple cylinders off. And that's really the hard thing. And you like to build shit and fix stuff. You're a fixer. So your fix for yourself is to recognize that I have a problem. Recognize that I am not being the best version of me at home because I'm not allowing myself that grace. You're on the right path. Right? And so one thing I do want to come back to is that concept of, I think it's a 10 of 10 problem, and my wife and kids think it's a 2 of 10 problem. It doesn't matter what they think. It matters who they are. It matters that they're happy and healthy and connected, right? All those things matter, But their opinion of your problem doesn't matter at all. Because it's your perception. You're the one looking at it. You're the one saying that. And so if I tell you you look great, but you don't feel that great, then it doesn't matter. Your ability to be honest with you and saying that, hey, this is a 10 of 10 problem for me, and I know it's a 2 of 10 problem for them, the A-OK symbol calms you down. It goes, okay, how do I solve this problem for me in a way that is least disruptive for them? And it's the same thing that you would do at work, right? The business has to grow. You have to be engaged. You have to get people. You have to do all the things. You got to get development, investment. You do all of that while not disrupting the enterprise. And we had talked years ago about that concept that your dinner table is your boardroom. You can facilitate a meeting with your eyes closed, but with the people you love the most, the outcomes are so much more important. Your ability to say that I struggle being present and engaged with the mundane is so important, because that's your 10 of 10. That's your problem to solve. That's your gift to your family, is that you now understand acutely that your 10 of 10 is often a 2 of 10 for them. So how do I take care of my shit? And you found it. You found the first step of bringing yourself back to a place of at least a 9 of 10. And that if you can begin to learn to sit with that fear and let it dissipate and dissolve while just looking at it, like being in the moment, right? They always talk about, like in sports, they say, oh, that moment was too big for him. Yes, it was, because he didn't think about it before he did it. He let himself get ahead of it, right? Whereas going in like that old school samurai mentality, which is a corny fucking thing to say, right? But they thought about all the ways they die, then went to battle. They figured out your ability to say, I'm not going to lose my wife. I'm not going to lose my kids as long as I'm doing the right things. And then you identify those right things and make those be yours. That's what I do, right? You've been so good about developing a process. Your ability to implement and execute is elite. The next phase of your life, as you enter this new chapter with the kids in middle school and all that stuff, like heading towards that way, is about understanding the lessons you learned when they were young, correcting them and applying them, but making small corrections to it, not these huge ones, right? You think about it in your world, change orders kill deals because you didn't think through the process as well as you could have. At home, change orders are changing the rules, changing bedtimes, changing habits, right? You need to be really graceful with that for yourself and allow yourself that ability to just be and understand the only thing your kids want from you is silence. They want to talk to you. They just want to get off their chest. They want to know they're loved and cared for. And they can't hear that if they don't talk to you. The thing that I love what you were saying, how at work you're able to get that clear in terms of the CEO tells you to write down what you think the role is. And he goes, nope, this, and this, and now you get clarity. Clarity is kindness. Wives of kids that are your kids' age think very differently than the spouse does, the male generally. We think in larger terms. So if you think about doing a 5-year plan for yourself, that's not overwhelming at all. Oh, I'm doing this, and that, boom, right? You give that same question to a mom who has 2 kids under 12. Dude, I'm thinking day to day. I gotta get the kids up, I gotta get lunches, I gotta get them out the door, we got bus stop, we got drop off, you leave at X time, then I gotta go do my job, I got the cleaning lady, I got this, I got that. They're thinking situation to situation. So if you're going to take the concept that worked at the office home, I would really encourage you to get granular and say, ideally, what does the perfect day look like? What are your expectations of me in a day? Period, full stop. Keep it small. Keep it confined. Keep it to a language that she speaks or they speak. Because if you get too broad, the kids don't think that way. Your daughter's 5-year plan is being in 10th grade. Your 5-year plan includes a lot of thought and logic and articulation. Your wife's 5-year plan is to make it to 5 years. What do you want? I'm going to do this every day for 5 years, and then I'll tell you where we end up. So the interplay between the future and the present is really that clarity of expectation. And we've talked about this a lot in the past, that I believe happiness is an equation. Reality minus expectations equals happiness. And so what you're saying is that I'm putting these expectations on myself in not meeting the reality of the situation. So let's actually understand what their expectations are and lower the temperature. And how do you do that is the question. You're bringing the tools that you have. I'm a planner. I plan in chunks. That's how I do it. So I'm fixing this problem, babe. We talked about it. No, we talked about it for you. You feel better, but do I feel better is the real question, because that's the outcome. Step one, it starts with a conversation about daily needs on a weekly basis. Your ability to pull things out of people naturally is who you are, dude. I've known you for years, right? You are really good with people. Your family's a whole different animal. And so the idea that you said earlier that my wife will tell me what the kids' needs are, it's true from her point of view. But your son and your daughter will have very different needs, and your ability to connect with them on their level is in you. You just have to be still and present and use those open-ended questions and move forward through it methodically. And over time it will show up, but 99.9% of the time, they don't want dad to fix it. They want dad to validate who they are, and they want someone to help them work through it. And as a parent, it's brutal. Because you're like, the answer's right there, dude. Take it. They've got to figure out that way to find it. And that's the magic of parenting. And it's hard as fuck to do. You know, I talk to my coach about the same shit. You think back over the course of your trajectory in this world, you've had a really unique story. And every time you've had a weird twist, you've come out on top. This is no different. All the experiences that you've had to this point in time lead you to this point in time. And so that's why that power of going back and thinking about it, reflecting on it, going to that space. Oh yeah, like I don't care where you go and what you see, because it's your journey. But if you're fully present when there's an acute need at home, you're fully present. That's how you feel. But you're relaxed in it. As long as that's a relaxing, calming feeling, you're fine. And now you have that sensation, and that's the trigger. And then it's on you to act on it. And you've shown the ability time and time and time again to act on it successfully. It might not be right the first time. You might overreact, but you will go back into that kid's room or into your wife's office or your bedroom and close the door and have that conversation and show them who you are. And they want to know who you are. Not what you think, not what you do, what you make. They want to know who you are. And if you define yourself as a fixer, the only version they're going to know is the fixer. You're figuring out who you are. And that 90% of our coaching has been outside of the office. I mean, we don't deal with the IRR and the P&L and, this deal, that deal, cap rates. We don't deal with that stuff with you. I'm not going to teach you anything you don't know. Your ability to be you in every situation is the game. And so taking what you've learned at the office that's worked, communication, consistency, openness, teamwork, and applying those to your friendships, to your family, to your nuclear family at home, right? As an adult, you get the family you were born into and the one you create. And those are two different groups of people. So that nuclear family, your wife and your kids, they're going to get a different version of you because they require it. The challenge is not pulling that familial thing, that fixer, that role that you've played into your family life at home, because it might not be serving you the best way.